Hello YouTube, my name is Isabella and welcome back to my channel, Stubbornly Bookish. Today I'm actually going to be doing a review for Sawkill Girls by Claire Legrand. Sawkill Girls is a young adult paranormal story that is set on this remote island. On this island there's actually this monster that has been hiding here for like decades, and it has been slowly killing young women. When it comes to present day, we have three main characters and their perspectives, and each of them have had a sort of run-in or are directly involved in this monster's plot to kill these women, and they're sort of forced into the position to fight back and reclaim the island. I was really super anticipating reading this story. I have been just wanting to read it for so long. This has so many elements that I'm actually really interested in reading, from weird kind of paranormal suspenseful stories, queer girls, and a ton of commentary on like the patriarchy and feminism and how society treats women. I intend for this review to be entirely spoiler free, so buckle in and I'm gonna review a book that I thought was pretty freaking great. With all my reviews, I like to start off with the world building, and there's not too much world building that needs to be done in here. It actually is set in the contemporary world, which I didn't know when I first started hearing about this book. I thought this might be a bit more fantastical. I think this actually did a really good job establishing how the paranormal aspects mingle and are integrated into our contemporary world and how they realistically would be in our world. I thought that was pretty well done and very interesting. It also uses some interesting perspective in here to help you kind of wrap your mind around what actually is going on once we start getting some answers. I thought the monster itself was interesting with its motivations and such, but once we got some reveals as to like the creation and how this monster came to be, I kind of lost me a little bit. It got a little too mystical and like weird about the magic in here. I wanted more of the realistic commentary, which I'll get to. One of my favorite parts of this story was the characters and their character development. Each of the girls are so unique and have very different perspectives coming in to the story, which I thought was really good setup. And because they are so different, they have a lot of conflict at the beginning, and just having them overcome their conflict and even just their conflicting personalities throughout the story, I thought was very interesting, and I loved just the dynamic between them. Also is a queer relationship that develops in here between two of the girls, and our other main character is on the ace spectrum, and I just really loved how much the girls grow and mature and how they come together. I thought this was so great. Also really found myself enjoying the plot. I loved the sort of mysterious, suspenseful, creepy nature of this book. We know that there's a monster and the characters catch on pretty quick that there's something wrong, but it's really creepy, some of the stuff that goes on, and it's nerve-wracking and frightening, and you're always on your toes with what's going to happen, and I just thought it was really good. I also really loved some of the devices used in this plot to have some really good commentary about the patriarchy and who benefits. Well, I actually would have loved to see a bit more of the exploration in here, specifically how consequences tend to happen in this society. I think it would have been super powerful if the consequences or lack of consequences were actually explored and not sort of forgotten about in the last act. And speaking of the last act, it got a little weird. I was on board with some of the reveals and things, and once we started learning about the monster, for the most part I was on board with, but then when we got to the end and the sort of, I don't know, boss battle thing occurs, I was like, alright, you've lost me. I wanted more contemporary stuff and commentary with the monster being at the forefront of this commentary, not so much being a literal weird thing. I thought the story was really well paced. I found myself getting through it fairly quickly, although I was stuck on a train for the most part of me reading this. I found the writing to be very descriptive and eerie, and I think that lent really well to the mysterious sort of aspects of the story. I almost wish it had leaned into the atmosphere even more. I love super atmospheric stories, and I wish there was even more of it, but that's just me being really picky and wanting all the atmosphere all the time. I had a really good time with Sawkill Girls. I think that this is the feminist paranormal book I was not anticipating, but really enjoyed. I actually gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It couldn't quite make it to the 5 stars, but this is definitely a book I do recommend. Let me know down in the comments below what you thought of Sawkill Girls, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again soon. Bye!